All right, gather round, because this one still sends shivers down my spine. It's the story of what happened in room 313 at Crestwood Hall. They don't use that dorm anymore. After you hear this, you'll understand why. It all started with Sarah, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed freshman excited to start her college life. Crestwood Hall was old, even by the university standards. Ivy climbed the brick walls, and the place just reeked of history. Not the good kind, though. More like the kind where you felt like someone was always watching you. Sarah moved in, unpacked her posters, and met her roommate, Emily. Emily was different, quiet, pale, always seemed to be lost in her own world. But Sarah was determined to make friends. She tried to engage Emily, but got mostly one-word answers and vacant stares. Weird, Sarah thought. But hey, college is full of weird, right? The first night was uneventful. But on the second night, Sarah woke up to a chilling breeze, even though the window was closed. She saw Emily sitting upright in her bed, staring at the corner of the room. You okay?" Sarah whispered, rubbing the sleep from her eyes. Emily didn't respond, just kept staring, her eyes wide with terror. Sarah followed her gaze. Nothing, just shadows dancing in the moonlight. "Probably just a bad dream," she muttered, and tried to go back to sleep. But then she heard it, a soft, raspy breathing coming from that corner, like someone was standing there, right there, gasping for air. Sarah bolted upright, heart hammering against her ribs. "Who's there?" she croaked out, her voice trembling. The breathing stopped. Silence. Emily remained frozen, her eyes fixed on the same spot. This became a nightly ritual. The cold breeze, Emily's catatonic state, and the rasping breath. Sarah was losing it. Sleep deprivation turned her into a nervous wreck. She started seeing things too. Fleeting shadows, whispers in the dead of night. She felt like she was trapped in a horror movie. One afternoon, desperate for answers, Sarah went to the university library. She dove into the archives, searching for anything about Crestwood Hall. That's when she found it. An old newspaper clipping. A story about a student named Eleanor. Back in the 1920s, Eleanor had lived in room 313. She had been ill, suffering from a severe respiratory illness. The article mentioned she was often heard gasping for air, struggling to breathe. One night, she was found dead in her bed. But here's the kicker. The article said that Eleanor had a roommate who claimed that Eleanor had been acting strangely in the days leading up to her death. Staring at corners, talking to herself, as if she was seeing something no one else could. The roommate eventually transferred out of Crestwood Hall, claiming the room was cursed. Sarah felt a chill crawl up her spine. It was all too similar. The breathing, the staring, the oppressive atmosphere. Emily was seeing Eleanor. Or more accurately, Eleanor was still there. That night, Sarah decided she couldn't take it anymore. She had to do something. She shook Emily awake. "We have to get out of here," she pleaded. Emily finally spoke, her voice barely a whisper. "She doesn't want us here." "Who? Eleanor?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling. Emily nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "She says this is her room. She wants it back." Suddenly, the room plunged into darkness. The temperature dropped. The rasping breath filled the air, louder than ever before. Sarah grabbed Emily's hand, and they ran. They didn't stop running until they were outside Crestwood Hall, gasping for air in the cold night air. They went to the dean, told him everything. He dismissed it as a college prank, but he couldn't deny the fear in their eyes. He moved them to a different dome, a newer one, far away from Crestwood. Sarah never saw Emily again. She heard Emily withdrew from the university a few weeks later, unable to cope with what she experienced. Crestwood Hall remained empty for years. Eventually, the university decided to shut it down. Too many incidents, too many stories. They say if you walk by Crestwood Hall late at night, you can still hear it. A faint, raspy breathing coming from room 313. Some say if you listen closely, you can hear a whisper, "Get out." So, that's the story of room 313. Sleep tight. And maybe, just maybe, double check those dark corners before you drift off. You never know who might be sharing your room. Remember this story anytime you feel like something is off. Because sometimes it's just a feeling can be a warning. She doesn't want us here. That's one phrase I'll never forget. And get out. Well, that speaks for itself, doesn't it? And if you ever find yourself in a place that feels wrong, trust your gut. It might just save your life. If you enjoyed that spooky tale, give this video a like and be sure to subscribe for more chilling stories. What do you think? Ever had a similar experience? Share your stories in the comments below. I read every one of them. And I'm always looking for new tales to tell.